Hey everybody, it's Karina from Per Diem Thrift. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark. I also own my own brick and mortar consignment store, and we are currently standing in my new location. I am so excited. Obviously, there is still some work that needs to get done, but if you guys haven't seen my empty store tour already, definitely go take a look. I thought I would give you guys a quick update on what has occurred since the last time we talked. I've also been meaning to film a Q&A. I asked you guys questions on Instagram like weeks ago, and I haven't been able to film anything until now. So we're gonna try and get this done before the people come in to try and finish the floor. But before we get into the Q&A, let me just give you some updates on the space. So as you can see, the floor is not completely finished. They ran into an issue because they ran out of flooring, so they had to order more. And after a week of delay, we finally received the rest of the flooring. So I'm hoping that they can come in today and finish this. That might be asking a lot, but they just need to finish doing all of the flooring out here. They are not doing any flooring in the back. It's gonna remain this way. They're just going to finish painting this wall because they have to patch up some holes. And then once they are finished, and by they I mean like my landlord and whoever he's hiring to do all this stuff, then we will be able to get in and start building the things that we need to. I did grab some furniture. I ordered a mirror and a rug off of Wayfair. I'm not super stoked about this rug, honestly. It is white. It was definitely an oopsie on my part. I did not look at the reviews that were under, you know, the listing. So I assumed that it was like a natural jute color rug. It is white. So I went in to go return it on Wayfair. This is my first time ever purchasing off of Wayfair. And it turns out that you have to pay for return shipping. It was gonna be like $80. So instead I took like a 20% discount, and I got that refunded back to me. I'm gonna keep it. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. There are definitely, I don't know, I don't want it to get like super dirty, and I saw like another jute rug at Home Depot that I liked a bit better, so we'll see what's gonna happen with that. But so far, that's all the furniture that I have, besides like all the fixtures that I have in my current shop. I was actually planning today to go hit up some thrift stores and see what I could find, but I wanted to film this video for you guys first. So maybe in another video, I'll do like a whole furniture haul, maybe, we'll see. But the other day we were able to get these shelves up. Since it's like out of the way of the flooring, they still need to finish the baseboards. So I figured if we just got this up, it wouldn't be in their way. And I am so thankful for Charlie's grandparents and his aunt, because they are the ones who put these shelves up for me. And I literally just was like their assistant. I would like pick up things, and if they asked for tools, I would bring the tools to them, but your girl cannot build anything for her life. So I am so thankful that they are here and helping. But yeah, other than the shelves, there's really nothing else. I have to wait for them to finish the baseboards before I can put up more like wall things on this side. And then of course we're gonna build my cash wrap out here once the flooring is done. But that's pretty much the only update I have for this space. There is obviously a lot of work that still needs to get done. I was hoping to be able to open a week from tomorrow, but I'm trying to be realistic with myself, and that's probably not gonna happen just because of everything that needs to get done. I don't wanna close it all. Also, Charlie has to work, and so I wanna use like our days off as time to get in here and do all the things that we need to. So we will see. Our opening date is still TBD, but hopefully we'll get it figured out soon enough. I cannot get over the lighting in here. I'm like so excited just from constantly being in a basement with artificial lighting, or it's like super dingy and stuff. Like having these windows is an absolute dream come true. And this is with the blinds closed. I'm actually getting rid of these blinds. So one second, this is blinds closed and this is blinds open. Oh my God, it's so bright. I'm so excited. I'm definitely gonna be filming more because it's just better quality. It looks so much nicer, but I'm gonna close these for now because a lot of people walk on this street and I don't want them being all nosy and snooping into what I'm doing in here. So it's gonna be a tad dark. Maybe if I come at this angle, we'll get window or lighting from the door. Anywhoozy, let me go in here and find all the questions that you guys were asking. It has been over 2 weeks since I asked you guys these questions, so I'm so sorry. You guys are probably like, when are you gonna answer my question? But anyway, let's just get into it. First question is from Savannah Jade 12, and she asks pros and cons of online reselling versus brick and mortar store. Love your content, by the way. Love you, by the way. Honestly, reselling online versus reselling in a brick and mortar space is like worlds different. It is so crazy how something that will sell for me easily on Poshmark will not move at all in the store, and vice versa. Also, just the time and energy that it takes to run a brick and mortar store, especially by yourself, is like nothing compared to the freedom I feel like we have as online resellers who work from home. I have been an online reseller full-time since 2019, and then I opened my brick and mortar store last year. So I had about 2 years-ish, 2.5 years-ish of just working from home and having whatever schedule I wanted to have. I could go sourcing whenever I wanted to. I could take days off whenever I wanted to. I could do whatever I wanted, essentially. And so I feel like I got really used to having that lifestyle. I could take trips, I could take vacations, didn't have to ask anybody for permission for anything. It was honestly such a blessing. And I feel like having my brick and mortar store now, especially as somebody who doesn't really have employees, like I have some people who come in and help part-time, but nobody who's like I could trust to run my store for me at this point. It is so crazy. Like I have to be in a set schedule now. When I say I'm gonna be open, I have to open. When I say I'm gonna do something, like I have customers who are keeping me accountable. And honestly, like it's a lot of overhead as well. Like this space is more than I ever thought I would be able to afford for like a storefront. And I'm so thankful that my business has grown to the point that it is now, that I can, you know, take on these overhead costs. But it is a lot to think about. If you are happy being a work from home person, don't give it up. Like, and I say the same thing about people when they're like, should I have kids or not? Like as a mother, if you don't want to, don't do it. Like don't try to convince yourself. Do not try to like compete with other people because other people have a storefront or have whatever. Like if you do not want it, if you are not passionate about it, don't do it. It is so much more work than you could ever imagine you have to do. And unless I feel like you really want it, there's no need. You can make a lot of money reselling online without a brick and mortar store. You could probably make more and have way more freedom with your time and just your life, your energy. And so yeah, there's a lot to think about. And going back to the whole like some things that sell in my store wouldn't sell online, I've had to learn my customer base for my brick and mortar store. It is drastically different just because of the demographic, because of the style of people that live here, like the style, the way that the clothes that they wear and things like that. Yes, there is some overlap, but there's definitely a difference, and that's why I'm keeping my businesses separate. At first I was merging all of it, but I realized that they are two very different business models, and so I am separating them, which is why my new store is going to have a different name. It is not going to be Per Diem Thrifts. That is going to solely stay my online persona. Definitely pros and cons. I guess I didn't really ask the pros and cons. I just answered like the differences. But I guess pros for reselling online would be kind of freedom of time. I know that it is still a lot of work. I'm not discrediting your guys' work. Trust me, I've been there. It is a lot and it can take more time and energy, especially when it's taking up time in your house, or not taking up time, when it's taking up space in your house, it can feel like a lot. But if you get a chance to like move your stuff out of your house, whether you have a garage or a basement or you are renting an office, anything, I feel like to get the work out of your house can be, I think, a little bit better. Also, pro of having a brick and mortar, like I don't know exactly what my 5-year plan is for this space, but I am setting it up in a way that, say if my life looks a lot different in 5 years or so, I could potentially sell this business and then just go back into doing online reselling or do something else wherever the road takes me. So it is kind of nice just to have that. I've known since I was very small that I wanted to own a store. I didn't know what kind of store when I was little, but this is what it is now, and I am so thankful for this opportunity. But that kind of brings me on to my next question, and this is from Nikayla Vilbig. Hey girl. She asks, do you remember anything from your childhood that was foreshadowing your career? And honestly, I could point out, like, probably have a list of things that led to me having what I have now. And number one is I watched my parents run their own business. They owned an Avis rent-a-car when I was young, and I would go to work with them almost every day. I didn't go to preschool. I didn't go to like a childcare, daycare, anything. I went to work with them, and they had like a little space for me set up in the back, and I just got to watch them work and like build their own business. And so that was like really inspiring for me to watch growing up. I was so inspired as a child that I would even like set up my own little like businesses while I was watching them. I had one where I would like make little Play-Doh sculptures, or I'd make little paper dolls, or I'd make things, whatever it was. I was like 4 years old at the time, and I would put them on the counter where customers would come, and I would say they were 25 cents, and I would just sell these little things, and whatever I got, however much money I got, I would take it to the little convenience store across the street and like buy candy or buy a snack or something. But those are some things that I think really shaped like my want to become an entrepreneur. And then I just grew up thrifting. Like I literally would go to the flea market every weekend. We would go to thrift stores almost every week. It was just part of what we did as a family, and it was partially because like we couldn't really afford going to the mall or like to buy things brand new all the time, and it was also just like a lot of fun. So I've been developing my thrifting skills since I could remember, and so I feel like those two aspects of my childhood really pushed into me owning what I have now, and I'm like really happy. I honestly didn't know like in high school what I wanted my career to be when I got older. I think I knew I wanted to run some kind of business, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be. I had like so many different ideas. If you guys have been following me for a long time, one of those ideas was having a coffee shop, which didn't end up working out, but it led me to being able to open this space. So there are a lot of different keystones or milestones that kind of helped me get to this, and I guess foreshadowed what this store would be. Dips Finds asks, what made you open your store and what challenges do you experience? Girl, the list does not end with challenges. They never stop. But I don't think you guys want to listen to me complain about everything that I've been dealing with. So let's see, what made me open my store? I was, like I said, working from home. I had everything that I'm reselling in a 1-bedroom apartment with my fiance and my daughter and my dog, and it was taking over my life. So I ended up renting another apartment in our building to turn into my office. And I know that that sounds crazy, but Charlie's grandparents own the building that we're in, and they just had an empty apartment, and so I paid like half of what they would normally charge for rent since I got like the family discount, and I used that studio apartment as my office. It was great, honestly. Like that's probably the best case scenario that could have happened. That was somewhere that was home but not home. Like I didn't have to get dressed and drive anywhere in the morning to commute to my office, but it was out of my house, so I still had like my own living space. Grandma decided that she wanted to turn the apartments, all the empty apartments, into Airbnbs, which is like totally fine. So I was getting evicted from my office. And coincidentally at that same time, I started going to a yoga studio locally, and I had been doing some pop-ups at that business for like the holiday season. The owner, who is now my best friend, Hannah, she was just like, she really believed in my business. Like we had just met, we were not close at all yet, and she just like really believed in what I was doing and thought it was cool and just decided to give me a chance. She said that she asked me if I was ever gonna like open my own store, and I was like, you know what, that's a long-term goal from now. I don't know when that's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen necessarily, but yes, eventually I would love to do that. And she said that she had space in her building and was looking to rent it out, and asked if I was interested in like having my office there, and I took it. And then one thing led to another, and it turned from just being an office to being an actual store, and it's even grown in that space. Challenges in that space specifically have been not being on ground level and not having windows. And all of my marketing has been organic, like word of mouth, social media, but like not paying for any kinds of ads. So everything has been very like word of mouth, or like people just happening into the store in order to find me. And I feel like moving into this new location is really going to help me have people see my store. Like when they're walking by or driving by, they're actually going to see that there's a store here instead of like hiding in the basement. And I'm also going to be working on like doing paid ads and better advertising to get people in. And then obviously one of the biggest struggles that I've been having is just me working on all of this by myself. Like I said, I've had a lot of help just from family and friends who have offered to step in when I need them to, and I'm so thankful for that. But for the most part, day-to-day, you know, routines and tasks, it's just me. So it's been really interesting learning how to balance all the things, and also just learning how to make sure that I'm not burning out. Which leads me to my next question, which is from Lauren Marie, and she asks, how do you avoid burnout / feeling unmotivated? Your videos are so helpful. Thanks, girl. I don't want this to come off as like bad, but I feel like specifically with this project, I haven't not felt motivated. Like this has been a work in progress for the last 10 years. I initially dreamed up having a sort of storefront like this when I was a senior in high school. I like drew up a plan for it. It was like one of my school projects. And ever since then, I feel like it's just been in the back of my mind of like, one day I'm opening a store. And as my reselling career kind of grew, I was like, oh, it's going to be a consignment store. It's gonna be some kind of clothing, secondhand clothing store. So this has literally been my dreams coming true, like my dreams unfolding. And when that happens, you're not gonna be unmotivated. Of course, there's days that I'm just like not feeling up to working, but it's not enough where I'm just like, I'm gonna give up or anything. That's totally normal. We take ebbs and flows with our life. One thing that I've been getting into a lot is like cycle syncing and learning like how my cycle and how I just function through the month. So there will be some weeks where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that, but I'm not getting off task, or I'm not quitting. I'm just kind of redirecting my energy in a different way. I hope that makes sense. And this also helps with, you know, burnout. Understanding your cycle as a human, and when you are feeling more like motivated, or when you're feeling more like take action versus when you need to take a break, and listening to it and adapting and doing all of that. So it's hard. It is not just like a, oh yeah, today I'm gonna like go gung-ho and this day I'm not. It's like really learning. It's a process. It is a whole learning experience. Being able to kind of be more in tune with that has really helped. I get this question so much. It is a little bit concerning to myself. I really had to take a step back and kind of reflect like, wow, like am I doing too much? Because so many people ask like, how do you balance everything? How do you manage your time? How do you manage online and store and being a mom and YouTube and doing all of this? And sometimes, girl, I don't know. Just because like I am doing a lot of things, I have a lot of things on my plate, and if I'm working on one thing and one thing is going really well, odds are the other things aren't doing as well. There is never a time where everything is going at 100%. It's impossible, especially as a one-woman show. It's just not realistic, and I have come to terms with the fact that I can't be 100% at everything. I don't get straight A's. I have an A here, I have an F over here, I have a C- over here, I have a B over here. Like, it is okay to not be great at everything. And I know for myself that and like people have told me like, oh, you need to, you know, give something up. You can't do all of these things. You can't be all of these roles. And I don't know if it's the stubbornness inside of me or if I truly do believe in this, but like I can't let anything go. I love doing everything that I do, and I'm just so passionate about all of it. I don't want to let it go. So I think me just understanding that, like, no, sometimes, you know, Poshmark isn't going to be great because I'm not spending enough energy on it, or my store sales are going to be bad because I can't be open, or whatever the reason is. I think just like understanding that really helps. Asking for help has been a huge way for me to manage all of the things, especially with this move. I'm so grateful for everybody who has offered to help me in some way, because then I'm able to do other things. Like, for example, yesterday I had a girl come in and just work a couple hours for me, and she was able to tag new items, put inventory in, which is something I have just recently taught her how to do, because I've been so like, I can't let anybody else do this. Like, I have just really bad issues with letting go of control, and I'm working on it. It's hard, but yeah, so I have her like putting in inventory for me, which frees up so much of my time for me to do whatever else I need to do. On top of that, I hired a VA through Upwork. She has been cross-listing for me. When I manage to get photos up, she's able to draft listings for me and do all of that. So again, that frees up some time. I guess delegating and just asking for help, hiring in places where you can, it is a dream come true. Also, Ryan just started school back up again, so having her be in like a structured school environment where, you know, I don't have to worry about her or watch her or have her at my store or whatever for certain periods throughout the day has been really helpful as well. So yes, just having a really good support system around you too is like so important, whether they are friends and family that live near you, or if you have friends in the reseller community. Like, I'm just so grateful for all of the people that I've met through the reseller community, because there are so many people that I can just reach out to when I'm having a bad day and just like ask for help, ask for guidance, or whatever it is. And everyone is so knowledgeable. Everybody has so much knowledge in different things that it's just nice to be able to go to somebody who has more experience than you and just like ask for help, or just ask for inspiration, or just look at them and be inspired. But yes, it is not easy. It makes me question a lot all the time. Like, honestly, last week I was questioning whether or not I was gonna shut down my YouTube channel. To be completely honest with you guys, YouTube makes me the least amount of money in anything that I do, and it probably takes like the most work. So I'm like, is this actually worth it for me? And like monetarily, no, I'm not profiting off of it. I'm probably losing money and time doing it, but it's something that I really like doing, and I feel like if I can be consistent with it, then it will grow and it'll be able to like bring in more money. But as of right now, I just like talking to you guys, and I like sharing my journey and what I'm able to do, and it's like a creative outlet for me as well, which is important. Like, having different things that feed you, feed your soul, nourish your soul, fill your cup is so important. So just, yes, I have all this business stuff, but like having the creative stuff, whether it's like creating content on Instagram or on YouTube, it is technically still part of my business, but it is creativity for me. It's a creative outlet for me. And then of course I have like other things like working out, which I also kind of get paid to do because I'm a fitness instructor. I also like to read. That's probably my one hobby that is not monetized at this point. But yes, having different cups, being able to do things in different ways, fill your needs and all of that in different ways is another great way to avoid burnout, and just to be able to manage like your stress levels and happiness and all of that. Kaylin Miranda asks, do you think your business would be as successful without your social media following? This question, I'm gonna be honest, it really bothers me, just because I feel like if you see somebody who has a large following, you automatically assume that they are like successful, and your definition of successful is different than anybody else's, right? Like, everybody looks at success in a different way. I would have to say that social media in general, Instagram and YouTube combined, make me the least amount of money that in anything that I'm doing. And it, like I said earlier, it takes a lot of time. So it's just kind of frustrating for me when people assume that I'm like doing amazing just because I have like a bigger social media following. And it's funny because a lot of those people don't ever buy from me or purchase things from me or anything. And I know who does. I know that there are some of you guys who do buy from me, and I'm so thankful. I'm not trying to sit here and complain and be like, go buy from me. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do at all. I hope that that's clear. But I just want to say that, like, I'm successful because I'm successful. I'm successful because I put in the work and I did what I needed to do, and I am, you know, I have a set of skills and I use them in a way to make me money. But that doesn't mean that my social media following is a direct correlator to how successful I am. I think actually, and I've had this conversation with a few people, that if I wasn't on social media at all, I would probably have a more successful Poshmark business or a more successful reselling business. There are so many people out there who run successful reselling businesses that have zero online presence because they aren't dividing their attention and their time into different buckets. Instead, they're putting it all into reselling, which is amazing. I go on social media because I like to connect with you guys too. And yes, there are some ways that I get to make money, whether it's from affiliates, whether it's from ads, whether it's from sponsored posts, but those are very, very, very little. I do not make a lot of money from that. I'm just being completely blunt with you guys. And if you guys look at my channel, like I don't have a lot of sponsored content, and it's not because I'm not trying. Trust me, I would love to do some more sponsored content. It's mainly because like the people who are reaching out just don't really align with what I'm teaching, so that's why I don't take those on. But I get what this person is asking. Would I be as successful if I didn't have a social media following? And honestly, I'm gonna say yes. I think that I would be. It would look different for sure. My social media count, my social media presence is not accurate depiction of like what I'm capable of as a person. And I want everyone to remember that. I'm not just saying it about me, I'm saying it about everybody. Like how life looks on social media honestly has nothing to do with what your life actually is, because social media is a highlight reel. Obviously, I'm not gonna show you videos of me having a mental breakdown or days when my bank account is negative. Like obviously I'm not gonna show that because it's not inspiring. I don't know, it's also none of your guys' business. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I would still be successful if I didn't have a social media following, and I probably would be more successful, but I will leave it at that. Isa Bedekt asks, will you include new/boutique items in your new space or keep it secondhand? This is a great question, and we're gonna move on to more of like the store questions now. But most of the clothing, if not all of the clothing, is all gonna be secondhand. I'm gonna try to have like 80% of the clothing be consignment, and then 20% will be like clothes that I source. If you guys haven't already, go watch my video where I reveal my new liquidation source. They have been absolutely amazing, and so I'm gonna be using them to kind of supplement in my store, but all of the clothing and shoes and stuff is all going to be secondhand. And then I am going to be bringing in some accessories, things like booby tape. I just ordered that off Fair, or like booby, covers or things like that, fashion tape, things like that I can sell as like secondary things, hair clips, jewelry. I am bringing in some local makers and local creators, local small businesses that are going to be selling some stuff in here too. Like one of my best friends has a natural skincare line called Moonbeam Daydream, and she's going to be selling her whole line in here. Charlie is going to continue making his rugs and sell some in here. As I grow, and if more people come in and they have things that they want to sell in here, like I will always be open to welcoming more small businesses that also need like a place to showcase their items. I'm also looking for artists who want to like display their art and sell it in here as well. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot. I think that majority of the things in the store are going to be secondhand. I feel like that is my strength, but I will be supplementing with some new things as well. Okay, nobody directly asked me these questions, but these are questions that people have asked me like in my DMs and stuff. One of them is, where am I buying wholesale? I am looking for people through Fair Wholesale. However, if I do find a small business that I love, I will just be reaching out like directly to them and seeing if they offer wholesale options, just to avoid fees and stuff for the sellers, benefit. I know Fair takes big chunk, kind of like how Poshmark takes a big chunk of our profits. So I just want to like, if it's easier for them, just directly contact them and make sure that they're getting a bigger chunk for what they deserve for their stuff. And if you're talking about like wholesale clothing, I'm still gonna be going through the same people that I have been, which is Trash Panda Wholesale, Helpsy Source, and What Outlet. And I know I'm missing some other ones, but I will put them here in case I'm forgetting somebody. But these are all just ones that I've purchased from in the past that I've had like okay, if not good experience with, and I'll kind of just jump around, see what they're offering, and if it's something that I want to carry in the store, then I will do that. Another question that I get a lot is like, how did I find my storefront? And the truth is, I have been hunting for a storefront for a few months now. I actually spent like a good chunk of time, 6 to 8 months, thinking I was going into another location. And that one just came because somebody walked into my store and was shopping, and they said that they had a building, and I said that I wanted to rent from it, and it kind of just moved from there. But I live in a small town, and there are always storefronts that are opening up or going for sale or going for lease or whatever. So anytime I would see a new one, I would just call and, you know, hope for the best. It is daunting. It is really intimidating. It is very scary, especially if you like have never had a retail space before. That's why I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity that I did in that basement, because it was a friend pretty much just like believing in my business and giving me a good start, so that now I am an established business that does have a brick and mortar location. Even though it isn't ideal, it kind of gave these other businesses that I was asking for kind of like proof that I could do what I wanted to do. To get into this space though, it was really funny. There was a business in here and they were closing and they were moving out. So when I saw that they were moving out, I contacted the owners. I found their phone number, like messaged everybody that I could possibly ask to see if they knew who the owners were, and I asked them if I could move in, if I could be their next tenant, and I toured it. I loved it. I was like, yes, please let me rent this space from you. They said yes at first, and then they said that instead they were just gonna sell the building. If I wanted to buy it, I could, but they didn't want to rent it, and I'm still not in the financial space to purchase a building. Maybe one day I will. But I told them, you know, like, okay, if you sell this building, please give whoever you sell it to my phone number. I'm really interested in renting this space. A few months went by, and then I just didn't think anything was gonna happen. I thought it was kind of like done with. But I got a message from somebody who ended up being one of my friend's husbands, but I had never met him before, and he said that he was thinking about buying this building but wanted to know if he could find a tenant first. Like, that was his requirement to buy the building, is that he would have somebody be able to come in and move in. And so I was like, 100% yes, me, I'm down, I want it. And so it kind of just like the stars all aligned and it worked out. And I just feel like if you really want something, and you work hard for it and you do everything in your possible ability to make it happen, it's gonna happen. If it is for you, it will happen. And if it's not for you, you're gonna find something better. I almost went into 3 other places, actually I looked at about 6 other places, literally almost went into 3 other places before I found this one, and each one of those places fell through and I was devastated. But I kept having to remind myself that, like, no, something better is happening, something better is happening, something better is happening. So I'm so glad that I stuck it out, and I just kept trying, and I kept trying even when I was getting turned down. And now I'm in like the space of my dreams, and I'm so excited about it. I know it's still a lot of work, and you know, just because I'm gonna open doesn't mean that it's all like done, but it is going to be a whole process, and I'm really stoked for it. So anyway, I think I've chatted your guys' ears off long enough. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will keep giving you guys updates. So sorry it's been a little while since I've uploaded a video, but fingers crossed, I'm gonna try to stay consistent. I always say that, but life always happens, and I'm so thankful that you guys stick around even when I do have these little breaks. But anyway, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. You can always DM me or comment them down below in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I think the thrift stores are open now, so I'm gonna go and see if I can find some more furniture for this space, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!